Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So the cat that you guys sometimes see behind me got diagnosed with cancer today. One of his kidneys is like literally fucking round, and it's not supposed to be. And so the doctor has not given him very long to live. In fact, I would be shocked if he makes it another 3 months. So I've been trying today to like kind of get my mind off of that by playing Call of Duty and watching, basketball games, like just trying to get my mind off it. And in the midst of all that, I decided I would watch Utah Jazz games because I watched 2 of them today. And the reason for that is because the Utah Jazz seem to be a team that I'm not talking much about. I've talked about them once before, but I just don't feel like I did it any justice. Mostly because they are playing their asses off right now. They are 10-3 currently. They are number 1 in the Western Conference. And people are talking about Lauri Markkanen being in the fucking MVP conversation, and it's insane because I actually agree with them, because Lauri Markkanen is playing his ass off and leading this team to a very, very good record, and they are not only good offensively, they're good defensively. And what I mean by that, you know how good they are defensively? They are the second best half-court defense in the fucking league right now, only behind the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think the head coach of the Jazz, Will Hardy, is not getting enough credit. I think a lot of people are looking at this and like Lauri Markkanen's the guy they go to, right? Because it's like he's getting more play time, he's getting the opportunity. And not to say that isn't accredited to him to an extent, right? But do you realize how hard it is to get a group of players to buy into a concept and go out on the floor and actually fucking execute it? Like, do you realize how rare it is for a group of like 12 to 14 players to put their egos aside to win fucking basketball games? It almost never happens. And you can tell Will Hardy is a former San Antonio Spur because he was assistant for the San Antonio Spurs for years, and he is now the head coach of the Utah Jazz, and they have one of the most efficient offenses in the NBA. They are, I believe, 3rd in offensive efficiency and 8th in defensive efficiency, and they're a team that I enjoy watching only because they play true team basketball, right? Like, if I look at their stats right now on Basketball Reference, they are 13th in opponents' points per game. They are 4th in net rating out of 30 teams. Defensive rating is actually 11th, and offensive rating is 4th. And right now they're 10-3, but in points per game, they are 1st in the NBA at 100 points per game. Yeah, they're actually 1st in the NBA at 118 points per game. They are 1st out of 30 teams. They have put together something that I don't think any of us ever expected to see, right? Like at the beginning of the year, everybody was looking at the Utah Jazz like a team that's going to be tanking for Scoot Henderson or Victor Wembanyama, and they're out here balling. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's not like they're beating bad teams. You know, okay, yeah, they beat the Clippers and the Lakers, whatever, but they've beat Memphis. They beat Atlanta. Like they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like they've beaten good teams. They've beaten playoff teams. Now, it's just like I look at this roster and I'm like, it's almost a thing of beauty because this is something you might actually never fucking see again. And that's why I'm making a video about it, because they are scoring so efficiently off of screens. I think they're like they're the most efficient team in basketball in scoring off of screens. And it's like, it's insane to me because like, I'm watching Kelly Olynyk out here shoot sidestep threes. I mean, like, it's fucking insane to me. Like, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that this team, the Utah Jazz, with the roster around it, would be number 1 in the West, I would have told you were full of shit. I would have bet a whole lot of fucking money against you, actually. I would have put like 10 grand against whatever it was you were putting up, because I would have said you were full of shit that the Utah Jazz would be number 1 in the West. And they have a bunch of really good players. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, Malik Beasley. Like, nobody on this team is like a superstar player, but they're all like they're just really good players. Talen Horton Tucker. Like, it's just nice to see a team show the rest of not only the league, but the rest of the world that you can win in the NBA with a bunch of good players, solid coaching, as long as everyone buys into the concept. And that's why I think what the Jazz are doing is so remarkable in a way, because it's like we've seen guys not want to give up their ego to win games, okay? Like Russell Westbrook, right? We saw Russell Westbrook didn't want to come off the bench. Carmelo Anthony was one of those guys who didn't want to come off the bench. I mean, like, there are a lot of egos. These are grown fucking men, right? Like, do you realize how hard it is to get grown fucking men to put their egos aside and come together as one unit to win a fucking game? Like, I mean, it rarely happens in college basketball. You know what I'm saying? And for it to happen at the highest level, with players that are no longer, I guess everyone's a student of the game in their own way, but like to have grown-ass men buy into it and just say, you know what, we believe in this head coach, we're going to do what coach says, is pretty impressive if you ask me. And if you get a chance, man, I'm not saying to like, I do want to say that actually. I do want to tell people to make it a point to watch Jazz games, but this should be a message to everyone out there who wants to be in the NBA one day, or wants to play for a college team one day. And it's something that, like, when I was a player, I understood, but a lot of players on my team didn't. And it was like, listen, if you ever want to make it to the NBA, if you ever want to make it to even, a Division I school, Division II school, Division III school, your team's going to stand out if you're winning. Okay? I'm just going to let you know that. You can put up 40 points a fucking game. If your team's losing, no one's going to see you on the big stage. That's the one thing I wanted to put in this video is, like, you can be the greatest basketball player in the fucking world, okay? If you're not in the ESPN Top 100 in middle school, okay, your odds of going to the league are very fucking slim, okay? There are those anomalies that happen, but it's very rare that, you go to the NBA and you're not in the ESPN Top 100 in middle school. And if you're not one of those people and you want to go to the league, you want to go to college basketball, you want to do these things, your team has to fucking win. Your team has to go to, like, a state championship. Your team has to win at the highest fucking level. And that's what I love about this, is just it shows that team basketball still works. Team basketball wins games, especially in a league where it's superstar driven, or at least franchise player driven. So that's all I wanted to say. Their half-court defense is amazing. The way they set screens, the way that their rotations are fucking great. I mean, there's not a lot of shit that they do bad. And to see Lauri Markkanen taking a step, like, obviously every team has that one guy, I think, that's like they can go to for a bucket. And honestly, Lauri Markkanen's leading this team really just by shooting threes. I mean, yeah, he's doing work around the basket and he's rebounding the ball, but most of his shots are coming from wide open fucking threes. I mean, wide open threes. I mean, the dude could do his fucking taxes from the 3-point line sometimes if he wanted to. It's just, all I'm saying is, Jazz are playing great, and Will Hardy deserves a lot of credit for this. I think a lot of people don't understand, like, just in this short amount of time, in 13 games, what Will Hardy has managed to put together, the product he has managed to put on the floor. If I'm Utah, like, I don't remember what contract they signed him to, or if they gave him an extension, or if he's just filling in or whatever. But if you ask me, Will Hardy's a guy the Utah Jazz better fucking retain for a very long time. And if this team continues to play this way, if this team continues this culture, and they can continue to win games like this, it won't matter what market they're in. If your team is winning like this, you think other people aren't watching this. I watched Tyrese Halliburton on Old Man on the Three on JJ Redick's podcast talk about how Lauri Markkanen has taken a step forward. Other NBA players are watching this team play basketball. And you know what? If I'm a guy who's never won a ring, if I'm a guy who, maybe wants to win, maybe wants to be a part of something, that's fun to be a part of, I'm not saying Kevin Durant's going to go there, but, it's just the idea. It's like you might be able to attract some players that actually want to go there. Guys are going to get opportunity, you know what I'm saying, that otherwise maybe wouldn't. And it's fun to watch, man. Definitely, I suggest at least watching one. I'm not saying you got to go watch every single Jazz game, but at the very least, watch one this year, even if it's one that's already over. You don't gotta watch one that it's like they're playing some garbage fucking team. Like, watch them play the Nuggets, watch them play Atlanta, watch like the Atlanta Hawks game. I think Lauri Markkanen hit a game winner or something like that. Like, definitely watch I'd say the Hawks game. But anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.